it's a wide range. I have
really
to say.
lucky.
I mean, the help role is much more of a femme, you know, a big brassy dame, you know, kind of like a Jessica Lange character,
Yes.
you know.
Oh, I love Jessica Lange.
From Blue Sky or from Tootsie, you know.
Yeah.
But you bring the depth to it as well. Celia is a great character.
Great character. I try to approach every part like a drama. So even the debt, I didn't know it was a thriller until I saw the film. I thought I was making this big, expansive drama, and then I saw the film, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so tense. You know?
Well, you did have to do some training, apparently. You had to kick ass.
I know. I got to do my action stuff. I got to do all my Krav Maga and run and jump into moving vans. Very different from the days of Juilliard and Shakespeare.
And you and Helen Mirren had to sort of sync up your performances in an interesting way, since she's playing the older version of you.
Yeah, and that was a very intimidating, because to me, you know, I mean, Helen Mirren is a goddess. She is just this force to be, you know, reckoned with. And I'm, you know, who I am. I'm just more unsure of my footing, and so to think like, oh my gosh, I am going to share a role with Helen Mirren, who's just this powerful presence. How is this going to be believable? But one of the greatest things I saw that kind of clued me in is I watched all of Helen Mirren's interviews on YouTube, and there was one interview when she was young that she gave. Her voice was higher, and she was really fidgety and more unsure, and then it was like an aha moment, because I thought, I don't need to be doing an impersonation of Helen Mirren now. Helen Mirren is who she is now, and who Rachel, the Rachel that she plays in 1997 is now, after a whole life of experiences. But who Rachel is at 25 is very different, just like Helen Mirren at 25 was different. And that really kind of opened everything to me. We can see the pattern of this is the same woman and where she ends up, but I didn't have to carry the gravitas of what that was.
It's so unusual, though, to have a young, innocent woman be a killer.
Yes.
And get away with it without an audience sort of turning. We've become a little more accustomed to women and guns. It's still a tricky thing.
Yeah. You know, I'm a pacifist. I'm not quite the gun-toting girl, but I love to see a strong female character. I love in Titus and Onyx, I love Tamara, the villainous woman, and in fact I think Jessica Lange played it in the movie. Those are really interesting roles, and to me, I think it's great to not be the one that everyone's trying to save. I like that in The Debt, I have more fight scenes than anyone in that movie. I have more fight scenes than Sam in that movie.
He's a relatively passive character.
Yeah.
To your character.
Right. I mean, she's really...
And she also stands up against evil.
She stands up against evil, and in these very incredibly vulnerable positions that she finds herself in that are, you know, so much she has to deal with in the gynecology office, you know, emotionally, and then just even physically, just like the humiliation of what that experience is that she's in. At the third, that's my favorite scene in the movie. In the third scene, when she's finally able to just take him down, Rachel's the one that does it. It's not David. It's not Stefan. She's the one who really takes down the quote-unquote monster, and I love it. And I love at the end, she's the one who tells the truth.
Now, coming up, you also have a number. You have Take Shelter, which we talked about, which is actually in some ways of all the movies, it's actually one of my favorites.
Oh, I'm so glad.
It's
that movie.
I mean, these you chose very well. I mean, these are all good movies, but this one is a surprise. It comes out of nowhere, and it somehow captures something in the zeitgeist that we're all dealing with right now. This uncertainty and fear.
Yeah. I saw Shotgun Stories that Jeff Nichols made for $53,000. It was his first film, and I was blown away by the scale of it. It's funny, maybe because we talked about Shakespeare, I keeps popping in my head. I think Jeff Nichols' films are Shakespearean in scope, the way he writes. Shotgun Stories is like this like this familial blood revenge tale. And Take Shelter, it's like so Shakespearean when the idea of storms, and it's like Lear, saying blow ye winds. He's for such a young writer, I find Jeff incredibly inspiring. So when I got the Take Shelter script, I was really excited by the opportunity to work with them, and then really excited to work with Michael Shannon. And our first meeting, the one thing that just like made me go, aha, yep, okay, I'm going to be really pleased with this experience, is our very first meeting. He said the most important moment of that film is a look at the end of the film between my character Sam and Michael Shannon's character Curtis, and it's a look that they share. And he says if that look isn't right, the whole film doesn't work. He said this film is about marriage and faith. And for someone to say that after I got in the script, and I thought, like, okay, on the surface, it's about something else. But if the director's telling me that this is a film about marriage and faith, this is a very interesting man and a really interesting artist, and this is someone that I hope to always work with.
Well, you had been spoiled by Terrence Malick.
I know.
But he gave you something to work with from there on in, right?
Yeah.
A kind of attitude that you're carrying with you.
You mean Terrence Malick? Oh, yeah, he's one of the greatest teachers I've ever known. He taught me so much about, as an actor, not planning anything, allowing for accidents to happen and being in the moment. But he's also like a great teacher on how to be an amazing human being. His films are beautiful because they're a representation of the person he is. He's an incredibly generous, caring, intellectual, deep, compassionate man. And yeah, so he's a great teacher.
We should all be so lucky.
I know, I'm so lucky.